In today's video, I'm giving you all of the statistics and data for the entire month of April in terms of what I've earned here on the channel. So if that's of any interest to you, that's what's coming next. But if you stick with the video to the end, I actually met a gentleman who has decided to live in a canal boat, and we just got chatting and he gave me a little bit of information about it. So that actually comes at the end. So this is a bit of a jump around video. I'll timestamp it so that if you're only interested in the data part, you can clearly follow where those points are in this video. But if you're interested in listening to the interview at the end, which was just completely out the blue, then that's worth sticking around to the end of the video. Thanks. Here comes the rest of the actual video. I've just received my third check from Google, my third wage slip from YouTube/Google. Obviously it's it's earnings from YouTube through a program called AdSense, but it's paid by Google, ultimately as the parent company of YouTube. But I've had my third payment, and since going monetized on the channel, I thought it might be helpful to share the progress each time I receive the monthly data and what videos have worked and how much I've been paid out of all of that. And the reason that I do that is because I know there are people watching here that are following along with this channel that may be considering trying to start something themselves, or they've got a channel and they're working towards monetization and they just want to know, like, once I get across that line, what can I expect to earn? And so I like to share that information with you. So that's who this kind of video is targeted towards. So you get the check into your bank account, and using an app, you can go in and have a look at each month's worth of data. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to move my camera slightly and I'm going to leave space here. And then what I've got on my phone here are the screenshots of the most relevant information that I thought would be quite useful for you. So I'm going to go through these screens looking at them, but I'm also trying to get my daily exercise in, so I'm walking and talking rather than sitting in my little office room to do this for you. Okay, so let's dive in. I'll put the screen right here for you. First and foremost, it's for the month of April, so all of April. And my channel has been monetized since late January. I went through the process. The first video effectively got the channel monetized. What does monetize means? Eligibility to run commercials, adverts on your channel. How do you become monetized? From posting one video or multiple videos, you must accumulate 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And that is in a rolling 12-month period. So if you can achieve those stats, then you can go monetized. You can apply, and then from monetization, the two things that you must hit is that you turn monetization on and go through a couple of questions which asks you, do you have any copyrighted music? Do you swear in this video? Is there anything offensive? You answer those questions, and from that you can then run a commercial at the beginning and end of the video at any length of a video. But if your video is over 8 minutes long, you can have mid-roll adverts, and you can either do an auto select or you can go in and place them yourselves. So that's how you would earn money from advertising on YouTube. And once you've achieved that monetization and Google has approved you, you would start earning on all future videos, but any views received on past videos after that monetization would also pay for you. So for example, if you have a video that has 100,000 views, you apply for monetization, you get accepted. The minute that you get 100,001 view, you would be paid on that one view and beyond. Okay, so April for me, 132,000 views for that particular month, which in terms of a growth factor, looking at the previous record month, which was the first month with the first video that went viral, beyond that, I then dropped it down into a more realistic viewership across what I was posting. And there from February, March and April, a nice steady growth. So I'm really happy, really just impressed and a little bit blown away at times at these numbers of the channel so far. So that was cool. And then in terms of the top content, my first energy bill was the biggest. I had 22.6k views. All right, moving on. You can see here in this next screen the breakdown of each of the individual videos within that month, what got the views. So the kind of lowest that you can see on screen was around 2,000 views, and then the highest was the 22,000 views. So quite a difference in the content in terms of viewership, and I think that's fair, because although I'm a niche of trying to move out of the country and everything that entails, I also recognise that I do tend to float around on topics, right? And that will either bring new people in or it won't. But for me, that allows me the kind of creative fluidity to make what I want and talk about topics that I like or want, or things that you suggest, without having to be too drawn into a very specific lane. Like, I look around YouTube, right, and I see that there's videos where somebody is just totally focused on the exit of the UK, or like the Bulgaria video, really specific on that topic. That to me feels a little narrow for me personally, which is why I like to then jump around other relevant topics. But I'll tell you, Yvonne and I are off to a Download Festival this week, heavy metal festival. It's got a lot of history for myself. I've been going there since I was 15 years old, and I don't go every year, but we go occasionally, and we're going to go this year. And I've been thinking about the content of that video and like, would it make a video here? And I just don't think it's quite right for this audience, but those are kind of the thought processes that you go through. All right, so you can see the range. Let me jump onto the next screen. So in terms of watch hours, as I mentioned, in order to get monetized, you need a total within a 12-month period of 4,000 watch hours. So you can see on this screen here that in April, for me, I had 7.3k watch hours, significantly over that number, but remember, that's a month versus what you would need in a year. So hopefully that gives you some perspective as to whether it's achievable or not to hit those numbers. It definitely is. Hey, how you doing? You all right? Great dog. Cute dog. So that will give you an idea as to kind of like what's possible. So 7.3k for my videos over that period. Okay, next screen, an important one, subscribers. You know, a metric that used to be mega important on YouTube, but less so now, more definitely a focus on building a community rather than some kind of information that YouTube takes as an algorithm. It doesn't focus on that. It's more interested in watch time and engagement, number of comments, how long a viewer sticks with a video. That's much more important to YouTube now than number of subscribers. But for me to build a base, people that are coming back on a regular basis, you know, I see this community, I see the names of people that are regularly here and engaging, and that shows to me that there is a community here talking about these topics, willing to debate and discuss many different aspects of life. So in the month, 476 new people signed up to follow the channel. So I was blown away by that, really blown away by that. And you can see, obviously, the first month on the screen was the big hitter. And then for me, it was about retaining those people. That was also part of my mindset about the channel, because I knew that Yvonne and I had a pencil in the diary of aiming for August to leave, but we still had a lot to do here. There's a lot for us to manage. Yvonne was dealing with her job. I'm still dealing with my father's estate. So creating content in that time period to get us to the rest of the year was where I've enjoyed being able to talk about different topics. But what's also important here is that I read comments recently, people saying, you just talk about the same stuff. And I thought, that seems wild, because, you know, at one point I'm talking about farms in Bulgaria, then I was talking about the TV license, and then HMRC and paying tax, and Tesco getting robbed, and Greggs, and I'm like, so what's never mind. But when you recognise that there's new people following, you know, I used to watch Joe Rogan's or listen to Joe Rogan's podcast, right? And you would be like, God, he tells these stories all the time. But you forget that he's got a different guest every time. So, you know, it's like, do you only tell a story once and then never repeat it ever to anybody? Well, I've got nearly 476 new people that have joined. So you're trying to give a little bit of context to some of these discussion points. However, I did see a great comment from somebody answering another comment back, which was to say, it's not EastEnders. Like, I'm not making a TV series here. Just talking about topics that arrive each day. Anyway, I digress. 476 new subscribers. Welcome all, thank you so much. Right, let's jump on a little bit. The important part of all of this, the money. Where did the money come from? How much did you earn in that particular month? Well, let me fire it up on screen for you now. So for the month of April, £347.91 from advertising on the channel. And that will be through, as I said, the intro adverts, outro adverts, and then videos that qualified. Hey, how you doing? You all right?
Thank you.
The videos that then also qualify for mid-roll adverts. So the biggest earner in there was my first energy bill, which was the shock about me getting my first quarter's energy bill. That video brought in £62.28. So again, in terms of growth, March I had 207 quid and February was 107. So 107 to 207 to 347. You know, if I was back in my sales job and I had somebody in my team saying, here's my growth over the last 3 months since I joined the business, how am I doing? I'd pat them in the back and probably take them out for dinner and go, bloody good job, carry on, keep heading in the direction that you're going in. So pat myself on the back for that and say thanks to all of you. Appreciate everybody that's watched. But to anybody that's thinking of that, can I do a channel? What can I earn? There you go. There is opportunity there for you to either build a business, something that you love, you know, turn a hobby into maybe being able to make a little bit of money on the side and just ease the pressures of your bills by doing something that you enjoy. Right, next up, let's see. I've given you a breakdown on this screen here of each of the videos within April and what they earned. You can see some of the lower ones were like £6, and as high as £62. In terms of new viewers, those videos brought in 74,500 new viewers. So again, new people that are coming in that want to follow the channel will go back and watch previous videos and you'll make a little bit off of those. Won't be insane, but you'll still be propping up that content whilst making new content within the month. And it's the kind of snowball effect, right? Because then you're just starting to build momentum. I can see when I post a new video how old videos get a bit of a reaction from them again. You see the views coming in, so you know that's awesome to me that people are willing to spend time listening to everything that you've got going on. That blows my mind. Returning viewers, so 12, nearly 13k in terms of returning viewers across the videos that I posted. And the subscribers, you can see there's always a little bit out here and there on the data and these things when it's captured. So sometimes you look at one window and you're like, well, that doesn't quite marry up. The data it tends to be a couple of days behind as well. So I always kind of take these things with a bit of a pinch of salt. All right, returning viewers, 13k across April, 58% more than the previous month. When we look at ages, you can see here again, my audience is fairly mature, around the same age as myself, or a little bit older, but there's a few youngins creeping in, a few between 13 and 17, 0.1%. That's very cool. And then in terms of the gender structure on the channel, heavily weighted towards the males. So thanks boys for the support. But also I really appreciate the engagement from female demographic, especially the messages and content that's actually receiving a lot of video suggestions, which is great because it saves me a little bit of the legwork of thinking some of these things through. And in terms of geography, all right, you can see again heavily weighted towards the UK, but some other territories creeping in. Given the topics, not really surprising. You know, if your niche is more international, then definitely you you know, your audience would be more split across other territories. Mine was very UK focused at this point. But once we leave, it will be interesting to see that demographic, whether it shifts. I would like to hope that maybe it does, as we're talking about new areas that we've landed in. All right, and then this one makes me chuckle. Subtitles. So I'm going to put this down, right, to not my broad Scottish Glaswegian accent, and more just a case of, well, some nights when I'm listening to the TV at home, I put the subtitles on because I've got DJ ear on and too many gigs in my ear. So I'm going to say that this is just a sign of us all aging a little bit, that almost 20% of my audience uses subtitles. All right, and then very specifically, I look at one of the videos, so the top performing. This was the energy bill video. You can see here, it's funny how it just falls off a cliff with YouTube. Like it reaches a point and then they just say, that's it, that's enough. You don't need to see or be pushed out to any more viewers, you've had enough. But that video gained 116 new subscribers, so that was a real win on that content. That really landed with people. And you can see it just had a big push at the beginning, and then it absolutely just dropped off a cliff. But it made about £63.37. How did that happen? Well, on this screen here, you can see what advertisers were willing to pay, and that was £9.17. That was per 1,000 views on that video. But my share, after YouTube takes its 45% cut and pay tax and everything else, I was earning £2.76 per 1,000 views. So that earned me £63. All right, well, that's all of the screens to share with you. Came up to the top end of the canal. Good morning, afternoon, sorry, how you doing? Beautiful boat. Beautiful. Are you on holiday or just travelling?
I live on it all the time.
Ah, lovely.
Yeah, it's good fun, it's good life.
And where do you travel from? Where's your kind of route?
Well, that way.
I'm recording just now. You don't mind me chatting, do you? I've got.
No,
okay.
free,
all right. Cool.
Yeah, no, I'm just travelling along on my own and just cruising from part A to part B, and then see where I end up after that. Basically,
Lovely.
Never really know where I'm going.
That's amazing. That's perfect.
It's good fun because you meet a lot of nice people.
I can imagine. I imagine. I live just along here on the canal, and I love watching the boats go by. It's just
get a boat, mate. Get a boat. Sell sell the kids. Get a boat.
The wife and I we're right in the moment getting rid of everything, and we're going to go travel. This was a suggestion.
Go for it.
This genuinely was a suggestion. We looked at camper vans and we looked at canal boats, and I said, the gentleman just showed me his camper van there. That's amazing. Beautiful.
Expedition truck. I used to live into it about 15 years building it and such like, and I love that, but they're clamping down on everything like that in this country. It's getting silly now. So I've moved on to the boat and I've not looked back. It's bloody hard work, mate.
Yeah, I
bet.
bet.
What is this lock number? I don't even know where we're on now. What are we on now? No idea.
Let me.
There's a number on it, so I can't see one.
Oh no, there isn't. Oh, that's bizarre.
Maybe about 6 or 7 out of 11.
My eyes aren't good enough to see the one that's the next further up, but
no, I can see a lot, and that's about it.
That's amazing.
You know,
well,
it is hard when you're on your own, like I am, what they call single-handed, which is a silly word or words. It's hard work doing all these.
Yeah.
But the CRT, the people who look after it, they were down here this morning filling all the pounds a bit between the two locks.
Yeah, I saw that had emptied
yesterday
out.
There was a boat stuck in the far one, and I was worried about being on my own.
Yeah.
Because if I go in the middle of a pound and I hit the bottom, I got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
All I could do is get on the phone and phone for the CRT to help.
Yeah.
Which they will.
Did you come through the Blissworth tunnel, or were you the other direction?
No, I think oh God, you know what? I can't remember which ones. I went to Sheffield. I've been to Nottingham, down the Trent from I started at Gaul, down to Sheffield, down onto the Trent. Not good that far. Tidal Trent, horrible. 6 hours in the freezing cold, stood on the back of my boat on my own. I didn't enjoy that. Yeah. No, I'm a canal person. I like the slow bit, not tidal.
Yeah.
And then went into Leicester, Newark, Nottingham. Lincoln was nice, Lincoln town centre. Then out the other side and back a bit. That was pleasant.
And what's your kind of what's your regular cost that you've got going out? Like, you know, your mooring, your energy that you need for it, a license. Like, give me a little rundown.
Well, the boat itself is 55.5 foot long,
right.
And they charge you by the foot.
Yeah.
So obviously that becomes 56 foot. It grows half a foot. That I think was about 1,700 quid this year.
Okay.
And for that, I get access to most of the rivers, all of the canals. Manchester Shipping Canal is privately owned, so you have to pay for that. The Bridgewater you have to pay for, but it's got a hole in it at the moment, so nothing's going anywhere.
Okay.
Another canal up there's got a lorry in it, so they're not going anywhere. How the hell he parked that in there, I'm yet to find out. Perfectly square in it, not like he's just gone in it. And then fuel-wise, when I had a log burning fire in it, multi-fuel fire, that costs a lot of money with coal and wood. And you have to generally put the coal on your roof, that takes your paint off. My roof's a mess at the moment, because being single, I have to walk down the middle of it as well when I lower this down. Overall costs, oh God, now, how much would that cost me a year? I'm going to say the better part of £1,000, roughly. But now I've got a drip diesel fitted, and that I think is slightly more expensive, but that also does my radiators. So the whole boat's lovely and warm come winter, and I can boil my kettle on it, which is important. I can cook on it as well, which I've not tried that because I'm a crap cook. So not a massive amount, but it can be lonely. It can be very hard work doing the likes of these. Yeah. Sometimes you have a volunteer lock keepers on, and they're worth their weight in gold. Girls and boys, they come out and help you, and that's brilliant for the likes of me.
This is the part that I'm trying to capture in the videos that I'm making about leaving the UK, is that there's no perfect solution to every situation, right? It's going to be dependent on you, how much work you want to put in. Like you say, it's a beautiful, relaxed way of life, but it has its edge of needing the graft to go into it.
I came off the main Grand Union Canal last night, wanted water. There was about 5 boats queuing for water, and it can take 2 hours to fill my tank. Yeah. So you just get on with it. I then came down, had to moor in the weeds because there's nowhere to moor down there. But I wasn't going to start the locks, because once you start, you can't finish. Yeah. There's nowhere to moor along, which I hope there was. So I've got to do, I think it's 11 before there might be somewhere to moor up before I do the rest of them. Yeah. Then I've got to buy a special key. These keys, they do most of the toilets, the shower rooms, and any anti-vandal locks. Yeah. But the next bit, you need another key. They've got their own set of locks off, and that's something like £7, okay, I'm told. Then I need another licence, which I'm told is about 120 quid. That's a bit of a rip-off. I thought that was included in my gold licence, but apparently not. That gives me access into the River Nene or the River Nen, and then the middle levels. And I want to go to Cambridge, Peterborough, St Ives, St Neots, where my little sister lives, and then out to Bedford. Then I think it's only like about 5 miles, and you can get back on the Grand Union, apart from they haven't dug it. So there's volunteers digging it, but that's going to be lots of years. So now I've got to come all the way back again. And I want to do that before the rains and the winter hits. I don't want to be stranded on this lot. So it's a lot of planning on it. So a lot of hard work, but I think it's brilliant because everybody's friendly. Everybody you meet is friendly, including the so-called teenage hoodies. They're all friendly when you engage with them. Yeah. I've not met a bad one yet. They help you, and that other people will help you. It doesn't matter if bloke, girl, boy, old or age. Everybody will help you, and it's fantastic. Great. That's great. I strongly recommend people doing it. It's great. Only when I need a hand.
All right. On that note, can I give you a hand just now?
No, you're right. No, you get on with
your name is.
Mate. Yeah. And
your name is
Brian Reynolds.
Brian, lovely to meet you. I'm John.
Hi, John. I would normally say don't tell the police when, but I'm actually on the Leicester Police website now because there was three PCSOs on push bikes, an Asian lady, an Asian chap, and a white guy. And I banter with them because I'm ex-Air Force, hence the flag. I said, do you want a cup of tea? They said, yeah. I said, meet me down at the next lock then, because I want a hand. They cycled down, but when I got there, the general rules is, this lock is set for me, so I go in it. If there's a boat here, they would wait rather than let the water out for them. Then let me go through. So a lady and a gentleman helped me through, so they never got their cup of tea, but I didn't realise the Asian lady was filming it all. So it's now on their Leicester thing. And it's just brilliant because it just shows the camaraderie between people, humans. They help each other. They didn't have to, but they did. And in the end, they didn't because the other people did it. But they did help it a bit. They showed them how to do it. But I think it just brings out the best in everybody.
Awesome.
I'm an evangelist for it. Definitely am.
Awesome. All right. Well, perfect. Thank you so much for the chat.
Enjoy yourself.
That was me just going to wrap my video up there. And I thought, well, beautiful boat. I'll finish with this. And now I've got the interview out of it as well.
You actually should have got the other side. It's polished that side. It looks
it's beautiful.
This is a bit pockmarked, but it's 22 years old, almost as old as me, give or take, like about 3 times. I recommend it. I really do.
Awesome. It. Right. Enjoy the rest of your day. All right. Thank you. Cheers. You too. You too. Well, there's a little bit of bonus content for you, a bit of real life. Wasn't that nice? Great boat, what a way to live, right? But just highlighting to you, there's no perfect solution to anything, right? If that's your way of life, there's no perfect solution because it's going to involve hard graft. He's on his own and he's opening those gates all the way down now. I offered, I'm glad he didn't say yeah, because I've got a knackered shoulder. I woke up this morning with a bit of a, I'm going to Download Festival and I've already got a motion injury. You know, I think that's my body basically telling me, John, you've done a lot of work over the last number of months looking after the inside. How about looking after the outside for a little bit? I hear you, but oh God, so thank God he didn't ask me to do the crank thing. I need to have done that through gritted teeth. But right, any questions about the money, the earnings? I think hopefully I've covered all of that. Probably ranted a little bit and all of that, but it's a good opportunity to cover off some of the kind of comments that have came out, just answering some of those questions and why I sometimes cover topics a few times because new people. But also, I mean, what topics am I covering too many times? That my dad died and I lost my job? Kind of feels like a bit of a main story narrative at this point, or storyline for me to kind of follow an arc to, right? But I still appreciated that comment about the EastEnders thing. Made me giggle. See you later. Have a great day.